Hey guys, what is up? This is UMXer238 and today we will be building another nether-based tutorial, except this one will be Crimson themed. If you guys do like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because it always really does help me out. But I hope you guys do enjoy this. Here's a few pictures that you can see of what the base actually looks like. It took me a little bit, but this is totally organic, completely able to be made in the nether using absolutely all the resources in the nether possible. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Again, if you do like it, stay tuned because I'll keep posting more videos like this more frequently. But here are the materials for you guys and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so the very first thing you want to go ahead and do is get out some materials. For this build, we are going to be using the Crimson Stem a lot. We will be using the Crimson Planks and the Crimson Stairs. After you have these materials, you do want to clear out an 18 by 18 square, as that sign says right there. So go ahead and clear out that space. And once you have that, you don't necessarily need it, but once you have it, we'll actually start in this corner right here from our square, and we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks over and place a warped stem. From there, we will make it 4 tall. So go 2, 3, 4 up with the height of the thing. Now from there, we'll skip 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll place another 1x4 post right here. This is going to be the front entrance that you walk into the house with. And yeah, from there, we will get our, we're still working with our Crimson Stem. We'll go 1, 2, 3 blocks in. We'll put another 1x4 post. And then we'll go one, and we'll do the exact same thing on this side too. So 1, 2, 3, and we put another 1x4 post. Actually, scratch that. These are supposed to be 8 high posts. So 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 right there. It sounded kind of like a cheerleader, and that made me cringe a little. Okay, so now that we got that, we got the 1x8 post and the 1x4 post. We will go from this post right here, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks over, and as you can see, we fit perfectly within the outline that I put, which is perfect. Up here, we will do this a 1x4 post right there. Then we will skip 4 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, put another 1x4 post. So you got that right there. And we'll skip 1, 2, 3, 4 once again, and this is where we will put another 1x8 post. And then from here, yeah, if I can place it, we will skip another 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, this whole build is actually built in increments of 4, but it does look nice in the end. Okay, so now that we got this 4 central 1x8 posts, this is gonna be where the tower is eventually gonna be. From this part right here, we will go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks over, and it's another 1x4 post, which as you can see, again, perfectly fits in with this little frame that we made. From here, we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, another 1x4 post, and 1, 2, 3, 4, another 1x4 post right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe that should be just about the last post right here. So that is what your frame should look like overall. Now for the connecting stage. Right here, we will actually not put any of the Crimson Planks because this is going to be like a little entrance, a little pathway into the house, but right here, we will start by building the doorway. So if you get your warped planks or your Crimson Planks out, we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up just for the time being because I don't know the exact heights. But I do know that for this is going to be the doorway. So we'll skip 2 blocks and we will put 2 upside down not warped stairs. I keep saying that, Crimson Stairs. I got to get used to the new block titles. Just like that. And then we'll actually have a little window wrapping around it just like this right here. That's how it should look. And this is basically the only different post that we'll actually work on. Everything else for the windows that we end up doing are exactly the same, which is 4 blocks on either side with an two upside down Crimson Stairs on the bottom and 2 right side up stairs on the top right there. And basically we'll actually just go ahead and repeat that same pattern literally everywhere, only on the outer edges though of the build. Don't actually work on the inside because this is actually going to be your interior, but it's basically the same pattern every single time. So 2 upright stairs right there, 2 upside down stairs right there. And you just keep filling this in right here, going all the way around. Again, 2 upright stairs, then 2 upside down stairs, just like that. So go ahead and actually fill that in on every single plank that you got going around, and then we'll work on actually building this little tower right here and starting to get that kind of constructed. Okay, so now that you can see we have got all the windows on the exterior of the frame, this is what you should be looking at right here. Now that we got that though, what we're gonna do real quick is, because I made these 1x8, they're actually supposed to be 1x9, so just add a warped stem on top of each, or a crimson stem, I caught myself. Just add 1 block on each of these to make it a 1x9 post actually. Now we'll get our Crimson Planks and begin kind of working on this tower shape that we got going on. So right here, we're just gonna start wrapping around with the Crimson Planks, going around like this on the same layer that is right above this little window right here. So on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th layer right there. And we'll actually make that too thick. So we'll add another Crimson Plank layer going around this entire thing. So wrap that around real quick, just like so. And now we're gonna make our windows up here, which our windows are super, super simple, but with all the detail that we eventually put on the house, it will look a lot more complex than it actually is. So for the windows, we actually just make a 2x2 square. So as you can see, we got a 2x2 hole right there. And we'll just go ahead and do that on every single post. Again, Windows super simple, but once we start adding detailing and making it look really nice, then it's gonna pop out a lot more. It looks a lot cooler. So now that we got that, you can see that this is the basic kind of shape and tower laid down. It's pretty simple, but it's supposed to be a little bit more simple on the simple side because this is a survival starter base. So now that we got that, we will actually get our Crimson Stem and we will go one block in like this on each and every single side, which in survival, you might want to be a little careful because at this point you're a little high up and you don't want to actually fall down and get hurt. So now that we got that, we will extend each of these stems up by 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for a grand total of 5 blocks is what I meant. So make each of these 5 tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from there, we will connect the bottom layers with the crimson planks wrapping around like so. And like we did with the this part of the tower right here, we're actually gonna make that double thick. So add another layer of crimson planks like this. Once you got that, we are just going to duplicate the exact same window we did for the bottom, except without the edges. So we'll skip 2 blocks and we'll just wrap around on the very top layer with some crimson planks like this going around the whole top. And that basically is actually the whole shape of this whole build done and everything. From there, it's a lot of fancy detailing work and everything, but I will say before we actually move on to that, go ahead and get your nether brick fence out. Since this is all natural, I can't actually add glass panes, which makes me really sad, but nether brick fence still looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do is we're basically just gonna fill in each of these and every single one of these windows with nether brick fence. If you guys wanna wait to do this, you can. If it helps out with building survival, you can definitely wait on it. But basically you just wanna put this every single window and all these windows up here as well. But then on the front as well, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go 1, 2, 3 over with this nether brick fence, 1, 2, 3 over, and we might as well just put one fence right there, just make a little uneven, make a little more natural looking. So now that we've got the nether brick fence though, you're gonna wanna just fill up every single window with a nether brick fence, and then we'll begin working on kind of, I'm not exactly sure, I will see what we'll be working on next, but I will show you guys in the next clip. Okay, so this is what your base should be looking like. As you can see, I have filled in all these windows right here with the nether bricks, including the top windows and the windows of the tower. What we want to do before we start on the next part of the build though, is I forgot, if you get your nether brick fence out, we'll go on the 1, 2, 3, 4th block right here, and we're actually just gonna wrap around with the nether brick fence around real quick, just like this, because there's a little detail that I kind of forgot. But now that we got that, we don't have to worry about forgetting it once again. So now that we have that done, we're actually gonna go ahead and start working on the interior, which is a little bit of a weird thing because obviously the exterior is not nearly close to finish and I always work on the interior at the end, but that's what we're gonna wanna go ahead and do. So go ahead and get your warped planks out. Not warped planks, I said it again, oh my gosh, I keep messing this up. I have not gotten the new blocks set in my mind yet. So we wanna get our crimson slabs out though, and then we also wanna go ahead and get our red nether brick blocks out as well, which is right there, red nether bricks. So now that we got the crimson stuff and all our material that we actually need for this next part of the build, we're actually just gonna start filling in a little bit of the roof. So if you go on the top slab of the 1, 2, 3, 4th block right here, you wanna fill this in with the crimson slabs on the top half of the block. But you don't want to do it underneath the tower because underneath the tower it's a little bit different because it goes up obviously and we don't want a roof right there. So if you go ahead and fill around the surrounding areas like so with all the crimson slab on the top half of the 4th block right there, you can see, oh, if I can finish this real quick, there we go. You can see we have got this kind of little indentation of the roof, and then we have this part that actually expands upwards because of the tower. So if we get our red nether bricks, we will go on the 1, 2, 3, 4 block right here. On the very 5th block, on the one above this one, we will actually make a little ring wrap around of red nether bricks like so. And you want that all wrapped around. Then we will get our crimson slabs, and on this layer, we will actually, on the layer of the red nether bricks, we will have it on the top half slab with the crimson slabs. As you can see, it is 1 block above this nether brick window, so hopefully that puts in perspective. Now for the actual interior of this little part right here. For this place, we actually want a wall, so we can just go ahead and fill this all in with the crimson planks and the crimson slabs. You can put that on top of this block to actually fill that in as well. And you can see we got a nice little wall over here. That's for a little bit of a separation of the rooms. Then if we get our crimson planks, we will actually put one here, one here, one here, 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 and here underneath all these blocks. And then we'll put upside down crimson stairs underneath each of those planks that we just put, just like this, wrapping around each and every single one of these things. And then we will get the crimson slabs and we will fill in this part right here. And I think, just to make it look a little bit better, we'll actually go 1 block down and That's how you want the interior to look. We got these little archways kind of separating the rooms, being a little bit of a divider, which is always really nice. And we got this part of the tower. We'll actually not need this block later because this is going to be how we actually get up to the tower floor. But as you can see, the interior is starting to come together a little bit. Now, if we get our red nether bricks, this part is super simple. We'll actually just go ahead and start wrapping around. We want these blocks like that. We'll wrap around with the red nether bricks around the entire base. So you just go ahead, wrap around. And for the floor, it's really, really nice too. If you actually build it in this biome that I'm in right now, you won't actually have to collect crimson nylium, but you can just place this as the floor. You won't actually have to collect it if you're in this biome because this is the floor that we will actually be using. If you are in a different biome though, you will have to collect the crimson nylium. But as you can see, we just wrapped around with the red nether bricks like this. And you know, why don't we can just go ahead and actually add the crimson door as well, just to kind of make it feel a little bit more complete. You can see this is kind of what the interior is going to look like. It looks pretty nice if you were to ask me. So now that we got that done, we can actually begin to start working on the roofing, which the roofing is a little bit complex, and that's why I'm going to check in my other world to see how I did it, and I'll get back to you guys in just 1 second. Okay, so I actually did put a lot of thought on how we actually want to build this next part, and I thought the best way to do it would be first to get a ton of our nether wart blocks. Now, as I said, I don't know if I said this about the materials or not. They're not 100% accurate just because there's a lot of block placing and breaking, and there's a lot of finagling with the blocks and everything. So the whole block material list is accurate, but also not accurate at the same time. Basically, you just want to get a lot of nether wart blocks, and what we're going to do first is we're going to lay down a foundation for the build, and then we're going to start texturizing after we've got the foundation laid down. So first of all, actually get your crimson slabs too. Real quick, I just want to say this. We actually do want to fill this little gap in. It's a 4x4 gap, or no, a 3x4 gap. Excuse me, but it's above this nether brick fence right here, and then it goes out just like that. And the reason we have that, you'll see later on in the video, just makes it look nice. And also with this window right here, we actually just want this to be crimson stairs facing inwards like this. So two upside down, or two upright, and then two upside down just like that. And you'll again see why as we begin texturing later on in the video. So now let's get our nether wart block. And the very first thing we're going to want to go ahead and do is we're actually just going to wrap around this entire thing like so with the nether wart blocks. So we'll actually wrap around this entire thing. And again, eventually we will texture this and make it look a lot nicer. But as for right now, we just need to kind of get a foundation before we can actually start laying down the texture and actually making it look pretty and nice. So wrap around with the entire nether wart block first, like so on this layer. Next, what we'll do is we'll actually just begin filling in blocks like this, filling it in with the nether wart block. So go ahead and just around your whole build and fill this block in. I'm not actually going to bore you guys with it and do it. I'll do it in just a bit, but basically you want this shape right here, like so, and you want to go one layer up, start filling this in, and maybe we can actually add a couple blocks right here. Again, I'm not going to bore you guys by filling this in. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm not going to bore you guys by actually filling in this entire rooftop because that will take a while, but basically you do just want to make this entire thing filled with blocks wrapping around, kind of like I did over here, just like that. And you just want to wrap around the entire thing. Next, what we want to do is we'll actually go on this layer right here, and we will wrap around the entire base of the tower like so. And that voice crack, that was a really bad voice crack. All right, and then we'll wrap around another layer up here like so, going around this entire thing. So just like this. And again, we will be breaking blocks and replacing blocks later to make this look a little bit prettier. Then right here, we will wrap around the very top layer of the tower. And the tower does get a little bit more complex because I want it to look kind of like a wizard tower almost. I guess this just kind of has a natural wizardy kind of feel. So now that we got that, we'll actually go ahead and place these blocks around right here as well, making a 4x4 frame. Now for the tower, we will actually want to place 2 blocks on this corner, 2 blocks on this corner, and 2 blocks on either of these sides as well. And you can already see that the wizard tower is starting to form. From there, we will actually go up 1, 2, 1, 2 on either side like this, kind of forming a little bit of a middle like this. And you can definitely see the shape of the tower starting to form. Now in the middle, we will actually go ahead and fill this in. And if you don't want mobs spawning in your base as well, I would eventually suggest filling all this in so that you don't have piglins spawning in your base. But now that we got that, basically we just want to kind of go up, and it doesn't have to look perfectly exactly like mine. You just basically want this kind of ending tower look, and I actually don't like it on this corner right here. I'm actually going to change that. But yeah, you just want to finagle it until it actually looks pretty decent, which I think if I break one more block right there, I would say that actually looks pretty good. Maybe, See, it's just a little bit of finagling and trying to make it look nice, trying to make it look a little bit proper. But once you get it kind of where you want it to be, I'll probably finagle it just a little bit. You just want the tower tip like that. So now I will go ahead and fill this part in, not to bore you guys, and then we'll actually begin texturing and making this build look a lot more proper and a lot more just nice. All right, so now that we have got this whole roof finished, and as you can see, I edited the tower until it looked a little bit better in my opinion. I filled all this part in, and for the materials, we will actually be getting the Crimson Nylium, which I don't have yet. We'll get the Crimson Nylium. I'm gonna move these blocks over so that we can have more space. We're also wanna go ahead and get the vines, the Weeping Vines in particular, and we're also wanna go ahead and get the trapdoors that are the Crimson trapdoors right there. For the texturing, I wouldn't say there's like really any certain way that you can actually do this. It's just kind of finagling it and making it look good. But what I've decided to do is I will texture one side of this, and then basically you just want to apply that to every single part of the area. This is a bit of a quicker and smaller tutorial, as again, I was recording the same day that I was also video editing, the same day that I had to release a video. So that's all right though. We will get our Crimson Nylium, and maybe place in a few blocks here and there, texturing it up a little bit. We can also make this a little bit uneven too, so that it looks a little, you don't want it to look clean. You want it to look dirty and messy, because if it looks too clean, then the build just doesn't look natural. Natural stuff is never perfect looking. But basically, you want to start messing around with this guy right here. We can also actually get some nether rack as well. Let me get this real quick, and I actually do still want my slab, so I will just grab these slabs real quick. Okay, and you can also play with these guys to actually add in a tiny bit more texture. You don't want to go too overkill with the Crimson Nylium, but you also do want to have some in there, because it will add a bit more detail once we start adding the kind of foliage on the roof and everything like that. But basically what you want to do is you also want to add in some planks and stuff like this. Maybe we can get some stairs out as well, the Crimson stairs. And you just want to kind of go around texturing it, making it look like it's broken down. The reason I add some wood here and everything is to give it that broken kind of appearance look. And it looks a lot nicer, if you ask me, when it starts looking like that. Maybe we can add a slab right there. A slab right there. Actually, I don't like that. But basically, it's just a bunch of finagling and making it look right. As you can see, this is kind of what the texturing is beginning to look like. I also like to use Crimson trapdoors, because if I do this, it kind of looks like a little patch on the roof where the roof has broken down a little bit. But as you can see, basically what I'm doing is I'm just adding these crimson blocks, the nether wart blocks and all this, and just trying to make it look right. And I am actually kind of happy with that. I'll keep working on it just a little bit on this side too, so I can show you what I'm doing. But yeah, just texture this up. Make sure to add in some Crimson Nylium every once in a while, because again, we want to add foliage eventually. And with the Weeping Vines, that's actually part of the foliage part. So let me just get the roof textured real quick first. Just keep adding blocks around right here. I will say on this corner right here, it looks really cool if you actually add a bit of a mound and stuff, and you eventually start adding, like making this kind of connect to the roof above, so that it looks like it's almost weeping down using the nether wart block and stuff like that. And you can also make it look like it's kind of dripping almost. If you add these blocks every once in a while, you can see how it's kind of got that drip effect where it's not like fully formed the roof and everything like that. And that's kind of something that I like to put in my builds, just because it looks a lot nicer. But yeah, basically you can see how I've textured this up a little bit. Maybe I'll add another trapdoor here, here, and here to make it look like another patch on the roof. But basically you want to keep doing that until it looks right. So go ahead and apply that to the rest of the build and try to get it looking as best as you can. This is one of those parts where I can't really give a block by block part tutorial if you wanted me to, because it's all just kind of to the eye. You know, you just want to make it look pleasing and satisfying to the eye of the beholder, which is, I guess, yourself. But basically, start texturing the roof and making it all, adding in these various types of blocks. I would recommend using slabs, stairs, the blocks themselves, the trapdoors, the mycelium, and just a bunch of like stuff like that. Just keep texturing it up until it looks right, and I'll show you my finished result for you guys, and if you want to see. All right, so as you can see, I have actually went around texturing this entire thing, and as you can see, it actually looks pretty darn rough. And that's kind of the way you want to go with this. You want to make it very rough. You want to have little hanging clips that look a little bit broken off, and edges that don't look too right, because this is a natural build. It looks like it's kind of almost like a decayed kind of, I don't know, it's just a decayed kind of build. And I probably will go around and texture this up a little bit more, just because every once in a while I see a part that maybe I want to add a block or take away a block. But really, you can't do a block by block tutorial on this, because this is all natural. This is all up to you guys. And as you can see, I've used all the texturing techniques I was talking about, using some trapdoors to make it look like maybe a little bit of it's patched up. It's been a rough life for this house. It really has. But now that we have got all that done, what you can do is go ahead and start working on the foliage. So for the foliage, we will get the weeping vines out, the crimson roots, and the crimson fungus. And I think that might actually be it. I don't know if there's any other blocks I actually use for the build. So these will be the main 3 types we want to do. And basically, this is why we had the Nylium pretty frequently on the build. Is because we want to have this grass or this crimson roots all over the roof, because this adds a lot of detail too. This makes it look so much nicer. So go crazy on adding as much crimson roots as you want. Just make it feel natural almost, you know, which is sometimes requires a little bit of spamming, a little bit of, you know, just kind of finagling and making it look right and not. I probably added a little bit too much, I don't know. But basically you just want to add it everywhere. I did add some crimson Nylium to the roof as well so that we can have some of the foliage up here as well. And then you want to get the crimson fungus, and I wouldn't say don't go too crazy on the crimson fungus, because if you have too much of it, it looks a little rougher. This is kind of like something to brighten it up a little bit though and make it look a little bit nicer. It gives this little yellow bit of texture that we don't really see, because most of this build is red. But it does add a little bit too to it, and it makes it look a little bit nicer too. Maybe we can have one right there. And as you can see, I'm just kind of adding this foliage, kind of taking a step back every once in a while, adding it to make it look right. And now with the weeping vines, I would say adding weeping vines in the corner usually makes it look the best. If you add it in the corners, it really does, it looks a lot nicer. So if we add maybe a weeping vine right here, you just want to add this around every once in a while just to make the build look a little bit more textured. Again, it adds this kind of a little bit of a yellow kind of niceness to it, which I really like, and that adds a little bit more color to the build instead of having it just be purely red. But basically, you just want to add this around, making it look nice until it looks good. Maybe you can even have one going across the window, because that part's a little bit more overgrown. But yeah, just keep texturing it up like this until it looks good to you. And I'll probably do a little bit more detailing with this myself, but I think that actually should be it for the actual build. As you can see, it's turned into this rough kind of like wizardy looking tower with some vines hanging down from it. It's been out in the sun way too long, or I guess out in this lava heat way too long, and it's gotten totally overgrown. So what we will do now, I think, is because we've got the main base actually done, I think we'll actually work on the foundation of the build, what it's actually built on, which is going to be a lot similar to my other nether base. If you guys haven't seen that, I highly suggest checking it out, because it is it's basically the warped, you know, twisting vines and blue kind of color version of this build. This is kind of like to the crimson biome and the other one's to the warped biome. But that is the basic build done. Now we're going to get the foundation and the floor, actually all of that done. And I think after that, we'll hop onto the interior details after that. But now that we have got this, it's looking really good. And I'll probably edit a little bit more just to spruce it up and add some details that I like. But that's what you should be kind of ending up with. So for the foundation that we actually want this build to sit on, and I'm only going to do one corner of it again as well, because I want this to be a shorter bit of a video, but what we're going to be using is the new Blackstone. As you can see, you guys have probably seen that I got this night vision effect. I think that just makes it a little bit brighter and makes the nether look a little bit cooler too. So now that we got the Blackstone, we have got the polished Blackstone bricks. Those are going to be the 2 main blocks that I use, but I also will use Blackstone stairs and Blackstone slabs if I can find that. And then we'll also actually be using Weeping Obsidian, or not Weeping Obsidian, I always say Weeping. It's Crying Obsidian, which this is a bit more of an expensive block, but I use it for lighting and for the foundation of the build. If you guys would also like to, you can also use the Shroom Light, because that's a lot more accessible, a lot easier to get. But basically, you will want it right here, kind of as what the build is sitting on. And since Weeping, or Crying Obsidian, I keep saying Weeping, Crying Obsidian gives off this really nice light. I actually use that and place it underneath each of the upside down stairs like this around the whole build. And it gives this kind of nice, glowing, cool effect. But basically for the foundation, and again, I'm just gonna do one corner of the house. First of all, you're gonna wanna put the majority of it down as Blackstone itself, because this Blackstone is gonna be just basically the main contrast that we use in this build. So go ahead and replace a lot of these blocks, and I'll probably eventually get rid of this black concrete too, and this black and yellow concrete caution line, just because I can say caution line, it's really perimeter, but it kind of looks like a caution line too, if you think about it. Okay, so now that you can see, we have got a little bit of this Blackstone kind of going around the whole base. Basically, you just want it surrounding where your build is, because obviously your base needs a little bit of a structural safe foundation, and I feel like this kind of cobblestone almost looking brick looks a lot nicer for a foundation than this grass does. So now that we got that, we have got this little corner right here. You basically just, again, begin texturing it kind of like we did up there. You will want to surround the entire base with this, but I'll maybe pop in a few of the polished blackstone bricks every once in a while to make this look a little bit nicer. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Maybe add a few bricks here, a couple right there. And you also want to add in some stairs to add in some like little divots and some slabs as well to get that same kind of divot-y looking. It makes the ground look a little bit unsteady. I guess not unsteady, it looks to make it just more rocky, which is kind of what you want. Maybe add a few blackstone bricks here and we'll add a little bit of a bigger gap right there. But as you can see, I'm just texturing up the ground. You might even want to get some of the gold ore. I don't know exactly what it's called. It is the blackstone gold. Let me see if I can find it real quick by scrolling through it. Should be under block. Sorry about this, guys. I should have had this up in preparation before I began doing this. There we go. It's the gilded blackstone. You can even add in some of this every once in a while just to give it a tiny bit more texture and make it look a little bit, it adds a little bit of a yellow color, which is actually compares really nicely with the mushrooms because we got the yellow up there and the yellow down here, and that kind of, I don't know, makes it look a little bit nicer. But basically, you want to go around the entire base and surround it with blackstone bricks, and these kind of slabs and stairs and divots and whatnot. And then we'll actually add some other decaling on the floor as well, which what I do for lighting is I actually get the trapdoor right here, the crimson trapdoor, along with, where is it? We got the nether rack right there. So we got the nether rack, and then I'll just get my flint and steel out. For some lighting things that I like to do around the base every once in a while is I just go one down, which I don't know why there's a bunch of lava down there. I think I built this over a lava pit by accident. Okay, there we go. So now that we got that, I just put some fire right in there and a trapdoor over it. And this adds a cool kind of little fiery burning effect. It's something nice. It's a little bit of decorating the terrain and everything and making that look nice. But basically, you just want to add some of these trapdoors every once in a while and get this terrain going around the entire thing. And after I have this done, we will move on to the final step, which is the interior decorations, and I'll teleport to my other world for that. Okay, so for the very final part, we are in my other world. As you can see, this is the one base I was talking about earlier with the kind of warped themed build right here. If you guys want to see this, I do have a video out for that already, so go ahead and check it out. And there is one more part I want to apologize that I missed. I forgot the lanterns. The lanterns add some light actually on the roof and everything and make it look a lot nicer. And they just add some light and a little bit of a yellow kind of tint and color, so make sure to add that when you are texturing the roof. This one looks a little bit rough, less rough, this tower and everything, but I still like it all the same. It looks pretty cool. So if we go in for the interior decorations, I struggled with this, guys. I really did struggle with this a lot because in the nether there's not a lot of materials to work with to get decorations, but I think it turned out all right. So if we walk in right over here, you can immediately see we've got a little bit of a dining set with some nether bricks and some polished blackstone brick stairs surrounding it. We got the warped or the crimson pressure plates on top acting as some plates. I did use these warp signs kind of just as like a little bit of a painting kind of texture almost. I didn't really know what to do for the walls, so I just added these signs on because they look a little bit decorative. I added some vines in the corner and maybe a lantern in this corner. Over here, we have got your respawn anchor station where you would respawn if you ended up dying, which I did not mean to put that sign right there. There we go, respawn point set, you see? And I got some crying obsidian as well, making this kind of look like a little table, almost a little office area with a brewing stand on top as well. We have got a lantern in the top with some vines in the corners as well. We also added these nether brick stairs in between each of these little crimson planks. That's the one detail I was missing. I thought about it earlier. I actually put planks here instead, but if you want to add and take back and put these nether brick fence, I think these look a lot better. I think these look a lot nicer too. But we got that going around the roof as well. We added some torches in and made this a little office station. Over here, we've got an ender chest on this corner and then a bunch of chests because this is where you would actually keep all your storage and whatnot. We got some furnaces with some trapdoors on again. Once again, I was struggling with the decoration. We added some nice nylium up in the corner with a warped mushroom on top, or a crimson mushroom. And then we got anvil, some crafting tables, some more furnaces. We got another kind of table workstation over here with a pressure plate on top, the brewing stand, and the torch right here in this corner with another lantern in the corner and some vines creeping down. This is the ladder that I was talking about as well that I also forgot to mention, which I'm sorry about that. But with this vine, we can actually just go ahead and climb up to the top of the middle of the tower. Right here, I did add a little bit of a roof with some vines hanging down, and I made this obsidian right here, and then we got the respawn anchors in the middle, shining with the glowstone. I also put some brewing stands on and some trapdoors up around with some pressure plates to make this kind of look like another little bit of a workstation. As I said, I was really stretched with this one because we didn't have a lot of resources. Again, I added some warp signs right there just for a little bit of color. You can't make paintings or signs or armor stands because you need smooth stone slabs and stuff like that. And as far as I know, you can't craft those in the nether. Currently, they might update that, But basically, this is all the decorations that I use in the build, and it's not much, but it does look nice. It makes your base look a little bit nicer. This is probably where you would be most of the time since you got your chest over here and you got your furnaces and whatnot over here as well. But basically, that is just about it. I will clear my inventory. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because it really does help me out. If you guys want to see another nether base tutorial, I will keep building these because you guys really like this one apparently, which I do too. I really like this one as well. But if you want to see another nether base tutorial, I would be absolutely happy to do it. I love doing these videos. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video, whether it's a build tutorial or a gaming video. I'm not totally sure yet. We'll see what happens in the next couple days. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.